Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to Breakfast with Bulls, where I'm going to go over our top 10 EV stocks that everybody has been talking about, as we do have recent news that Biden has committed a lot of money towards the EV sector. I'm going to go over that news with you guys, and I'm going to go over the top EV plays that everybody has been talking about, as we do have a thesis for every one of them, and I'm going to go over exactly what I'll be looking out for, exactly when I'll be buying, and exactly when I would be exiting. So again, I do appreciate all the love in the comment section. As always, you guys have been showing me tons of love, and if you guys have not subscribed, we do well at Monday through Friday on entries and breakouts, so be on looking for more of those. And lastly, we do have a Sunday night countdown every Sunday on our weekly watch list, so look out for that tomorrow. And again, much love to you guys. God bless you guys. Now let's jump right into the news that we have been seeing on Biden. So you can see right here that Biden has committed 174 billion commitment towards electric vehicle cars. Again, this is huge, as he will be having a huge commitment towards electric vehicles. In my opinion, the electric vehicle space will be popping very well, but however, we are going to wait for these confirmations, and I'm going to go over those as well for you guys, so you guys can see exactly what we're going to be looking for into these plays. Now, the first one I'm going to go over here is Workhorse, as Workhorse has been on a sell-off recently. Again, they were up around $42 when they almost had that contract with USPS, but they did have that huge sell-off as they did not get that contract. But however, we are sitting at a support around 1244, and we definitely don't want to break below that 1244 mark. In my opinion, if we do, we could possibly go down to around $5 where we were previously, and we definitely don't want to be in the middle of that sell-off. But however, Workhorse could come up on a nice bullish run. Now, we do want to break our previous breakout point. Now, I do want to mention that we did have a nice play here on the bullish divergence. Now, bullish divergence means when the price goes from higher to lower, and then the RSI goes from lower to higher, therefore creating a possible reversal. And sure enough, we did have that reversal and had a nice little 10% play on this. But however, it does look like it did have another sell-off, and it came back down, and we are trying to hold this 1244 mark. Now, we do want to break past that previous breakout point at 1844, at 1855. So again, if we do not break that, then definitely we would be probably in trouble at that point. So we do want to at least break that point, as you can see right here at at 1829 on the Fibonacci line. So again, we do want to at least break 1855, in my opinion, to have a nice bullish run on Workhorse. If that does happen, then I do have an alert set, and I will be buying into Workhorse on a nice swing trade. Now, again, we do want to see volume confirmation as well, so we are going to be looking out for this volume to pass our previous volume point, and if it does, then I will have confirmation on Workhorse for a nice swing play, in my opinion. Now, the next one I'm going to go over is Tesla, as Tesla has been one of the most talked about, one of the most spoken about EV stocks in a while, as they have been on a huge sell-off, and a lot of people are wondering if it's going to recover or if it's going to sell off. Now, I am going to exit out of all these real quick so you guys can see exactly what we're looking at overall. I don't want to confuse you guys with all these lines here. Now, we're going to draw a simple Fibonacci line from the bottom to the top here, so you guys can see exactly what we're going to be looking at for. Now, again, if we do break down below our previous low here at around 537, then we could have that huge sell-off, just like we saw in Workhorse. But however, we do have almost a very similar breakout point as in Workhorse. We do want to break above 718, in my opinion. Over 720 would probably be ideal, as that is the very key spot, in my opinion, for Tesla to have a nice run. And again, we will be waiting for that volume confirmation on the lower end here, as we do have very little volume. But however, you already know that Tesla is the best EV stock out there. So again, that is what we'll be looking out for. We do want to break that 720 mark, and if we do not, then in my opinion, I will be holding off on Tesla. But I am very bullish on Tesla overall as a company. We just have to see confirmations for a nice trade. That way we're not in the middle of a sell-off, and we're not holding bags overall. So again, Tesla, again, that is my second favorite, my first favorite, I'm sorry, and then Workhorse would be my second, in my opinion, if it does break out. Now, my next one I want to go over is GE. Now, GE, General Electric, is a nice play, in my opinion. I like General Electric. I like the sell-off it's been having. I like how it bounced off right here, and it didn't have too much of a sell-off like we saw in Workhorse and Tesla. It has been holding up pretty nicely, and I think that they will have another run soon. So we are going to wait for them to break this previous breakout point, and I will not be buying unless we do get confirmation on volume. Again, we want to break this previous volume point on our buy volume. If we get buy volume and we do get that breakout point, then we could potentially see a nice run. But however, we are going to look at the MACD here. As you can see, we have this huge amount of sell-off candle here that we did have, and we do have less sell volume coming in. But however, our buy pressure doesn't look like it is confirming quite yet. So again, we do want to break at least above our previous volume MACD buy pressure point. If we do not, then we will not get confirmation on GE, in my opinion. But however, I do like most of these EV plays overall as a long play. So this is only speaking short term on swing trades. But however, long plays in the EV sector, in my opinion, are going to be very, very hot sectors in the next 2 to 3 months. So again, I am only talking about swing trades and confirmations, as that is what we look for in trades, is buying on momentum, in my opinion, so that way we don't have to hold so many bags long term and we don't have to free up cash later. And you guys know how that works. So GE was the third one I want to go over, and GIK is a SPAC. They do have a merger coming up with Lightning eMotors on April 21st on 4/21 with Lightning eMotors. And if they do get that merger, then I do think this one could possibly go to $17 from where it's at now at $10. Now, these SPAC companies, their floor is around $10. So if you wanted a tight stop loss at 990, you could, and have it a short loss at around 8%. And however, if it does not go below $10, which I do not believe it will on this merger, at least leading up to it, then I think it could break out to around $17. As previously, when they did have that merger vote date news that they were expecting to have, it was sitting at $17, but they're now at $10, and they already have that their merger vote date news. So again, we could see GIK come up on a nice run up to around $17 by the time their merger comes. I don't personally play the merger, so I'm actually playing this one going into the merger vote date, and I'll be selling right before it on April 20th. So again, GIK is definitely on the watch with Lightning eMotors, as Lightning eMotors, in my opinion, is one of the best EV companies that will be out there if they do get their merger. And in my opinion, they probably will merge, but that doesn't mean that they will run up on their merger. Therefore, like I said, I will not be holding into their merger. Now, Fisker did have a nice run up recently. We have been watching them. Now, a lot of us were pretty speculative when they came down around $9, but however, they did come up to around $23. They had a nice run up and they were consolidating, and we made a nice play on this one when it did break out of its previous breakout point at $21. And we had a nice trade around $28, I believe it was, on a nice 40% profit. But however, we have sold off to our previous consolidated point, and it looks like we are going to try to consolidate here. If we do consolidate here and we do break above our breakout point around this area, in my opinion, we would have confirmation for another breakout around $20. But again, Fisker does need more volume, in my opinion, as they did have a ton of volume recently. So it is going to be hard to break that volume point, in my opinion. So Fisker is only on the watch for now, but I do like Fisker overall. I do think that, like I said, any of these EV sectors, any of these EV companies will be a nice run up going into the next 2 to 3 months. And again, Fisker is definitely on the watch, and we'll have that alert set. Now, Ride, we are going to be looking for even more confirmation on Ride, as again, this one has been on a huge sell-off, which there is another EV company very similar to this that had this huge sell-off, which is Hyliion, I believe it was. Yeah, Hyliion had that huge sell-off to around $10. We could see Ride had the same type of sell-off. So we are waiting for really huge buy volume on confirmation on this one, as if they do not, then we possibly could even see even more of a sell-off, and we definitely don't want to go below $10. So we do need that volume confirmation. As you can see, we do need to break out of our previous volume point. If we do not, then I will not be buying into this one, as again, this is very bearish. This huge sell-off is definitely very bearish, and we definitely want to hold at least above our previous breakout point and get more volume confirmation on this. This was something that did break out around $12.06. So we do want to essentially break over that $12.06 mark and hold that support, and then give us volume confirmation for a nice play on Ride. But however, Ride is not one of my favorite ones. But however, we do have our alert set, and when it does, or if it does consolidate at this point around the $12.06 mark, like I said, then I will be buying into this one. So again, Ride is definitely on the watch, as it is another EV company. Now, XPEV, we do see that had a huge sell-off from around $72, coming all the way down to around $24. We do see that we had this sell-off here, and we are going to try to make sure we hold above this $25 mark. But however, it looks like we are coming up to our previous breakout point that we did have, and it looks like we are getting rejected on a candle wick here. It looks like we want to break above it, but however, it is struggling. So if we do hold over this $38 mark, in my opinion, and we do create a nice support and create volume confirmation down here, like we had mentioned in the previous stocks, we could see a nice run up, in my opinion, on XPEV. Again, XPEV is starting to get hot. We're going to make sure we do get that volume confirmation to have a nice swing trade. If we do not get that volume confirmation, then like I said, I will not be buying into this one, but it is definitely on the watch, as it is another EV company, and I will be trading all these EV companies that do give us confirmation. Now, NIO is a different play. This one is a Chinese EV play, as everybody loves NIO. Everybody does like NIO, as it is kind of like the Tesla of China. But however, China has been having a lot of issues recently. So we are going to wait for this one to break out. And in my opinion, NIO at this point, I'm not going to be buying into this one, maybe short term, but I'm talking about long term here. I'm not going to be buying into NIO quite yet, as we do want to clear up that China news and make sure that we do not get stuck in the middle of a Chinese company that gets ruined for any regulations that they have. So again, we do have a previous breakout point around $45. It looks like we are slacking right here, as we are not quite at the point it was, as we've seen other EV companies. So again, some of them are almost breaking out of our previous breakout point, some of them are not. And this one, in my opinion, is not quite there yet. And we do have very little volume. And I think investors are losing a lot of confidence in NIO at the point, and that's why it is selling off. So we might see another sell-off, in my opinion, towards its previous breakout point around $27. And if it does break around $27 and have nice consolidation, I think this will be a nice another short-term play, as it did have this nice bounce here. We could potentially see our long-term buy around this area for a nice entry. And if it does sell off from there, then I might be buying more on NIO. But however, I do expect more of a sell-off around the $27 range on NIO. On the next play that I want to go over is Hyliion. Now, Hyliion is very similar to XPEV, as we saw that huge sell-off. Actually, it was Ride. It had that huge sell-off like we saw on Ride. Hyliion, in my opinion, I do like the company, but however, they're not very profitable quite yet. We are all the way down to our previous IPO price around $10. So again, Hyliion, I guess you could play a nice long play or short-term play on this at these levels and have a tight stop loss around $10. If it does drop below $10, then you can just not hold this at that point, as you could pretty much not know where it'll go from there. On a sell-off, it could go all the way down to $5. Who knows? But however, Hyliion, like I said, could potentially be a nice play going into the next couple months if it does break out above our previous breakout point. In my opinion, above $15. If it does break over $15, then we could potentially see a buy here. But however, like I said, we do need that volume confirmation. It looks like we're getting even less volume confirmation than we've seen in any of the EV companies that we've been talking about. So therefore, in my opinion, Hyliion does need more volume to get to the point where we do buy on a nice solid swing play on this one. Again, we want confirmation on these plays, as if we do not get confirmation, then we would possibly be holding on a sell-off, and we definitely don't want to be in the middle of that. So again, Solo is our next one. Again, Solo, in my opinion, it's not one of my favorite ones. Actually, it's the least favorite of them all, as they do have EV cars, but however, their EV cars are the very miniature EV cars that don't have huge contracts. It seems like a lot of people would have to adjust to a new idea on how to actually use EV cars. So I think they have a lot of renovation to be creating, and I think they are going to have more of a sell-off. I think Solo is one of the worst EV companies. However, we could have a nice trade if it does hold above our previous high here around $6. Again, we do want it to hold over $6 and give us volume confirmation, as we have seen in many other EV sectors, on this breakout point or above our previous high that we saw around $5. So again, we do want it to hold over $5 in my opinion. And if it does break over $5 and give us that volume confirmation, I'll definitely be buying into it for a nice short-term play. But however, Solo, not my favorite long-term play at all. Now, the next one I'll go over is NKLA. This one would be the worst one, but it's not quite. So NKLA actually has a lot of nice trades that come up with this. Again, they have a lot of volume, because NKLA has a lot of potential as a company. If they do get contracts, then they could potentially break out like we see on Workhorse. So in my opinion, NKLA is like secondary after Workhorse. Now, NKLA hasn't had as many contracts as we would like, but however, they could land a nice contract, and we will keep them on watch. Now, if they do break these points around our previous breakout points around $24.84, then we could potentially see a run up. Now, let's draw our Fibonacci lines on this one so you guys can see exactly what we're going to be looking for. So again, you can see that breakout point around $30, $28 that we are going to wait for. And we are going to get that alert around $28, because if it does break over $30 and give us that volume confirmation, then I will be buying. But however, we do need that volume confirmation to at least this point. If we do not get that volume confirmation to at least this point where it did break out above $28, then we do definitely want to stay out of this one, in my opinion, as we don't know where it could go without any contracts. Now, that is our Breakfast with Bulls. I hope you guys did enjoy our Breakfast with Bulls. We do this every single Saturday. Last week, I think it was NFTs. This week is EVs. I probably will do a cannabis sector one at some point, probably next week. But however, cannabis, in my opinion, also is going to get very hot. So definitely be on the watch for many of those plays: sndl, OGI, Tilray, APHA, all of them. Definitely keep them on watch, as Cuomo is going to possibly legalize it in the next few days, and we could potentially see a nice short-term play on those. But however, I definitely would be careful long-term on those plays, as again, we could potentially see a sell-off if they don't get more cannabis news. So again, cannabis sector is very much on watch as much as the EV sector. Like I said, we do have a lot of news on the EV sector that could potentially pop all these companies. So definitely watch out for that overall volume, as you may see a lot of these EV sectors popping, but you want to make sure you buy into the ones with volume and confirmation. Again, I see this happening all the time, where there's a lot of sympathy plays, but there's not a lot of volume in the other ones that are not so much as good. So definitely don't get stuck in the bad EV companies. Make sure you are buying into the good ones with the volume that has confirmation. So again, much love to you guys. God bless you guys. I appreciate all you guys have been watching. And like I said, tomorrow is our Sunday night countdown on our weekly watch list. So be on the lookout for that. God bless you guys, and I will see you guys in the next video.